Hey real estate agents, in this video I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on something that I get a lot of emails about, which is basically real estate agents asking how is AI going to fundamentally change the real estate business. Now I did a video already talking about whether or not AI is going to be taking real estate agents' jobs, but this video is going to be a little bit different because I'm not going to be talking about whether or not AI is going to be taking a realtor's job, but more so how AI is going to be changing the real estate industry in general. How it's going to affect customers and homeowners, developers, and just the way that we transact in real estate and how we look at the industry in general. So I'm going to break this video down into three key parts. The first one is going to be how is AI going to change homeownership? What kind of effect is it going to have on you as the homeowner or somebody who's looking to buy a home? The second is going to be my thoughts on how AI is going to change the real estate buying and selling landscape. So whether you're a real estate agent or you're somebody who wants to sell a home, or maybe you're an investor, how is AI going to change the way that we transact with one another, get information about properties and things like that? And then the third is going to be my prediction on where I see the real estate industry going now that AI is becoming sort of a normal part of our society, and basically how I think all of that is going to play out in the next 5 to 10 years. Now real quick, if you don't know who I am, if you've never watched any of my videos, my name is Brandon Upright. I've been a real estate agent for over 7 years now, but I am also an AI consultant that helps real estate agents from across the world implement AI and automations into their business. So if that's something that interests you and you're not already subscribed to my channel, then I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe, because that helps me get my videos out to more real estate agents and help them build a better, more future-proof business. Now, why should you even take the time to listen to my opinion or what it is that I'm saying about AI? First and foremost, because this is what I do every single day. Literally every day I'm talking to real estate agents, I'm helping them implement AI into their business, I'm trying out new AI tools and always keeping up to date with sort of what the new AI trends and technologies are. So I always have my finger on the AI pulse, if you will, when it comes to the real estate industry. And because I'm a real estate agent myself, I have a pretty good idea on how these technologies are going to affect us and our business and how we operate day to day. But because I've been involved with AI for the last few years now, I like to think I have a pretty good sense on the AI trend, so to speak, and where it's leading up to, how it's changing things in our lives, not only as real estate agents, but just as regular consumers and homeowners. But of course, if you disagree with anything I'm saying, or even if you agree with anything I'm saying, I would love to hear it in the comments. So drop a comment below. Let me know what you think is going to happen with AI kind of making its way into our industry and just changing the real estate landscape. So first and foremost, let's talk about how AI is going to affect the real estate landscape for the average person if you're a homeowner or somebody looking to maybe buy your first home. Before I dive into my actual opinion on what I think is going to happen or is already happening, I want to address something that a lot of real estate agents talk to me about, which is that they think AI is, maybe a trend that's going to come and go because it's less personable, or it takes away some of that face-to-face human quality of hiring a real estate agent. But when I hear people say something like that, like, oh, AI is not going to take a real estate agent's job because AI can't do what a human can do in terms of relating to a human and being personable with them. Basically, what they're trying to say is right now dealing with AI is weird. It's like you're talking to a robot, and a lot of people don't even know, is it safe, right? There's all these movies out there that show AI taking over the world, or AI taking the information that we're giving it and using it against us. And when I hear comments like this, it almost confirms to me that AI is going to absolutely change the entire real estate landscape, not to mention just our entire day-to-day life in general outside of real estate. But obviously for this video, we're gonna stick to the real estate industry. But the reason that I say that is because if you look at all the big technological trends that have happened in the last, say, 20, 25 years, they all started out as being something that was very weird, very awkward, something that maybe didn't even seem safe or normal at the time, but then slowly just became regular everyday life. Let's take Uber, for example. I remember when Uber first came out, it was all over the news as something that was like very offside, and people didn't really know how to react to it because, you're getting into a stranger's personal vehicle and they're gonna drive you around, and it's, somebody that you've never met before, and it's different than a taxi because they don't have a license. A lot of parents were scared to allow their kids to get into an Uber, and at least in my city, almost everybody thought that Uber was a fad. It was going to be gone as fast as it came in, and it probably wasn't going to be something that we were going to see in the next 24 months. Fast forward, however many years later, and Uber is more normal than a taxi now. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't really know anybody that takes a taxi or a cab anywhere unless you're in like Las Vegas, where it's almost mandatory. But for regular day-to-day life, if you're not driving yourself around, you're most likely taking an Uber or a Lyft or some kind of similar service. You can also look at something like Airbnb. When Airbnb first came out, it was literally supposed to be an air mattress that you could rent to stay at somebody's house when you're in a different city. It was an air bed and breakfast. That was the whole point of it. And everybody thought that this is the weirdest idea in the world. Who's gonna go sleep on an air mattress in some random person's home? It seemed weird, it seemed unsafe. It honestly didn't even seem like something anybody would actually want to do. But as the platform evolved and more people got used to it, it became super popular to the point where it is nowadays, where Airbnb has more properties to rent than any other company in the world. The list goes on and on, right? There's Uber Eats and Skip the Dish. Nobody ever thought that some random person would go pick up your food for you and then drive it to your house. When I go on vacation, I use an app called Rover to book somebody to come watch our dogs for us, and they actually stay at our house and they dog sit. That was another thing that when I first downloaded the app, everybody was like, that is so weird. You're gonna have a random stranger come stay in your house and sleep in one of your bedrooms. But now it is super normal and millions of people use the app. I believe that AI, specifically in the real estate world, is going to be the same thing, where right now it seems weird to be talking to an AI or to get your real estate advice or your answers from AI. But in what I think is going to be as soon as 2 years, it's going to be so normal to get any information or advice about your next home purchase or about the current home that you live in from AI. The reason I say that is because AI is essentially becoming a part of all the other aspects of our life right now. Almost everybody that I know uses ChatGPT in some way or another, whether it's just asking questions, talking back and forth, or helping them reply to an email, or even giving them advice on how to help their baby go to sleep. The trends actually show that more people are turning to ChatGPT for answers than Google. And as more and more people start using and relying on AI for answering their questions and helping them accomplish certain tasks, the user adoption is going to become higher and higher, and it's eventually going to become very normal to use AI for bigger things like purchasing a home or getting information about your own home, even other aspects outside of real estate like education and medical industries. The more that these AI apps and services get used, the more that people are going to see that the answers and the quality of the feedback that is being given to them is trustworthy and it's reliable and it's real. And it's kind of just this cycle of people using AI, getting good answers, trusting the answers, using it for other aspects in their life, trusting the answers, and so on and so on. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because as AI becomes more user adopted and more trusted, it's going to become the status quo for doing anything in real estate. And if you still don't believe me, I'm going to give you one more example that will probably convince you. Let's look at the internet for a second. When the internet first came out, and you can actually go Google this, you can look at old talk show episodes and news reports where they talk about the internet in almost a joking manner, that people are selling things online, that's crazy, they're not going to make any money. People are in chat rooms talking to each other online, that's crazy and weird, you can't even see the person's face. A lot of the dialogue that was happening in the media and even just amongst people when the internet was first becoming a thing was very sarcastic and almost cynical about how this is not going to go anywhere and it's something that only the nerds are doing. But fast forward to today, and there are very little, if any, aspects of our life that you could imagine doing without internet. I mean, think about this for a sec. If you went into your doctor's office to get a checkup and he told you, hey, moving forward, I'm not going to be using any internet whatsoever. I'm not going to be connected to the internet. I'm not going to write up any documents using my computer. I'm only going to be writing everything by hand. I'm never going to send you an email. I'm unplugging my Wi-Fi router. I'm throwing it out the window. And this is going to be a doctor's office that doesn't use any internet. You would probably stare at that doctor in utter disbelief and at the same time be thinking, I got to find a new doctor. And that's because we know, as people who live in 2025, that having the internet at your disposal is a huge advantage. You have access to way more information at a way quicker rate. You can get answers to people's questions. You can collaborate with other doctors or medical professionals. It would just be crazy for you to do any type of your medical services without having somebody use the internet. Imagine you hired a lawyer and they said, no, we don't use the internet. We don't use computers. Immediately, you're going to think, I got to hire a different lawyer because the work that that lawyer is going to do is going to take them 1 month, whereas that lawyer using the internet and a computer could do it in 1 hour. It just wouldn't make sense to use the lawyer or the doctor who doesn't use the best technology at their disposal. So as AI infiltrates more and more of these industries that we interact with in our day-to-day life, it's just going to feel completely normal to be interacting with AI and using it to accomplish regular normal tasks that you otherwise wouldn't. When you go into a grocery store, you're probably going to be dealing with AI at the checkout counter, asking questions and things like that. Your car is going to have AI in it, just like Teslas do right now. And of course, your house is going to have AI in it as well. Your fridge is going to be able to tell you when you need to pick up groceries and exactly what groceries you should pick up. It's going to be able to tell you what kind of meals you can cook based off of the food that is in your fridge. The AI of your home is going to be able to tell you, when to change your furnace filter, when your light bulbs are about to burn out. And of course, with all that being said, AI is going to be able to tell you the value of your home and where it stands on the market and give you a ton of information that you otherwise would not be able to get, or would be very hard to get, or you might have to pay to get. So basically, to the regular everyday homeowner, AI is going to allow people to have more access to more information about their home, which in turn will not only give people more buying and selling power, but it will also help regulate the market. As a homeowner, if you have instant access to knowing exactly what your home is worth, the right time to sell or the right time to buy another home, accurate predictions about the future of the market, up-to-date, super accurate information about the home that you might be looking to buy. So as an everyday person who owns a home, AI is essentially going to allow you to be like a supercharged homeowner that knows everything about their home, the condition of it, any problems with it, solutions on how to fix those problems, the value of your home, even things like the history of, the last time the foundation was repaired or the roof was done. Just like right now, when you're buying a car, you can pull a Carfax or a car report showing you all the maintenance that's been done, when there was an accident and all that kind of stuff. AI will allow every homeowner to have access to the exact same thing with houses. And obviously something like that would affect you as a real estate agent, because in a lot of markets, that information is still very much gatekept and is what a lot of real estate agents use as leverage to hire them, because without them, the homeowner wouldn't have access to that information. Now, going to my second point, which is how is AI going to affect the actual transaction part of buying and selling a home? Well, like I said in my previous video about whether or not AI is going to take over a real estate agent's job, I don't think it's going to completely replace a real estate agent, at least not in the immediate future, but I do think that it is going to reduce the amount of leverage that a real estate agent is going to have, because the homeowner is going to have access to all of that information at their fingertips and instantly be able to figure out an accurate valuation of their home, the condition of it, what it's worth on the current market versus if they waited 6 months. Or if you're a buyer, they'll have instant information about the home that they're looking at and a comparison of that home compared to all the other ones in the neighborhood, which property is the best buy versus the worst buy, what type of repairs have already been done on the home versus the repairs that should be expected to be done in the near future. All of this information that a real estate agent normally advises their clients on and is a big part of why a person hires a real estate agent will be gone. That doesn't necessarily mean that people won't need a real estate agent, but it does mean that people are going to need a real estate agent that uses these AI tools. Because as of right now, we don't know the level of accessibility that these corporations that develop these AI tools are going to give to the public. Let's just say that your local MLS board is the next company to invent this amazing real estate AI. Just like they're doing right now, they're probably going to put some type of gatekeeping on it so that only realtors have access to this tool. So it's important as a real estate agent to stay up to date with these tools, because these are essentially superpowers that your clients are going to rely on you to utilize. Just like how you wouldn't want to use a doctor or a lawyer that doesn't use the internet, a person is not going to want to use a real estate agent that doesn't use AI. It just wouldn't make sense for a homeowner to deal with a real estate agent that is slower to respond, slower to get them information, slower to write up their reports and their presentations, versus the real estate agent who uses AI and can get all of that done in a matter of minutes. And trust me, there are a lot of very grumpy and usually older real estate agents who wag their finger at me saying, AI will never be able to do what humans can do. It's not personable, it doesn't have sympathy, it doesn't have personality. And again, that may be true. It's very difficult to predict whether or not AI is going to get that emotional aspect to it like humans have. But even if it doesn't, without a shadow of a doubt, a real estate agent is going to need to be able to use these AI tools. I mean, you wouldn't hire an accountant that doesn't use an accounting software, or at the very least, Microsoft Excel. So why would you hire a real estate agent that doesn't use the latest and greatest best AI tools that has access to all the MLS data and all the municipal property data. It's just a no-brainer that as we move along in this technological advancement, people are only going to want to hire individuals, whether it's a real estate agent or an accountant or any other profession. They're only going to want to hire these people who are utilizing AI to the best of their ability so that they can get the best service possible. And at the same time, it is probably going to bring the cost down of hiring a real estate agent because now there's a lot less work involved for the real estate agent. I mean, let's think about what the AI landscape looks like right now. If you could automate 60 to 70% of your business as a real estate agent, meaning a lot of, answering your emails, writing up contracts, lead qualifying, follow-up, marketing, all this stuff that you can currently automate with the tools that are available right now. Let's just say that you committed a few months to getting all of that perfectly automated with AI. How much more free time would you have? And if you had all of that extra free time and your job was that much easier and less stressful, you could probably reduce your commission from 3% to 2.5%, or from 2.5% to 1.5% to give you that competitive advantage over everybody else. And then of course, as real estate agents start to do that, other real estate agents are going to follow. And this is just what happens in every industry, in every market. If a restaurant lowers the price of their food, then the next restaurant next door to them has to lower it in order to compete with them. So realistically, as these AI tools start to come into the picture and evolve real estate agents' business and also evolve the everyday life of a homeowner and what type of data they have access to, it's possible that it makes a real estate agent more accessible because now the homeowner doesn't have to pay $5,000 or $10,000 to sell their home. Now they only have to pay $1,000 or $2,000. And I know you might be rolling your eyes as a real estate agent thinking, I don't want to be a real estate agent if I'm only making $1,000 per commission, but it's all relative because now that deal, instead of taking you 30 days to close, is only going to take you 5 days to close, because everything leading up to that point that normally took a long time, like the lawyers doing all their paperwork, the mortgage person doing all their paperwork, the city having to switch over the title, all of these things that take multiple days and weeks, and the inspection has to be booked a week out and ahead, and all this stuff is now being done by AI, which is being completed in minutes or hours, which means that you're able to do business at a higher volume while giving a better service to your customer. And from the customer's point of view of buying or selling their property, they're getting a better service from their realtor. They're getting more accurate information. They're getting more accurate information at a quicker rate, way better communication. And overall, the industry just becomes a lot more standardized and honestly trustworthy because, like I said before, as AI becomes more normalized and adopted by all these other industries, people start to trust AI more than they're going to trust some professional that took a few month course to get their license. I'm not knocking real estate agents. I am one myself, but we all know that there are real estate agents out there who flew through their course and probably should not be practicing. Now, the last thing that I want to mention before we jump to point number 3 is that my prediction is as AI becomes more normal and part of our everyday life, we are going to see a lot more people that are buying and selling their home on their own. Now, I know what you're thinking, Brandon, you said that AI is not going to be taking real estate agents' jobs. And I stand by that. I don't think that, at least in the near future, it's going to be taking real estate agents' jobs, but I do think that a lot of people are going to turn to an alternative, which is buying or selling their home on their own. Now, the reason for that is obviously because AI is going to make data more accessible to the everyday person. There's going to be lots of tools and platforms coming out that will allow you to list your home yourself or buy a home yourself. It'll allow you to fill out the contracts on your own. There will be much less of a need for having somebody there to negotiate for you because AI is going to be able to tell you the value of a property. And then above and beyond that price, it's basically just going to come down to the person's opinion and how much they love that home. But there will no longer be a debate between two real estate agents about, my home is worth 500,000. No, it's not. It's only worth 450,000. The AI is going to be able to tell you exactly what your home is worth because of all of the sales history, and it knows the exact size of your home, the finishes of your home, the condition of your home, the history of what's been worked on in your home. It's going to know more than a human will know, and will be able to tell the homeowner exactly what their home is worth, which then means that they don't need a real estate agent there to negotiate for them. That being said, of course, there's still going to be a group of people who want to have a real estate agent there, either because they don't have the time, or maybe they just don't trust the platforms, or maybe they just want that second opinion. So there still is going to be the group of people that want to hire a real estate agent. I just think there's going to be a lot more people that are going to move towards selling or buying their home on their own. Personally, I believe that platforms like Facebook are going to really double down on this when it comes to their marketplace, and there's going to be other for sale by owner market apps that come out. Zillow will probably double down on it. Homes.com are going to double down on this. They're going to have their own internal AI features which allow you to buy and sell your home directly inside of their platform, and that not only includes marketing it for sale, but also all of the contract work and submitting it to lawyers, getting it all approved, sending it to the city to transfer the title. All of that stuff will be handled internally inside of one platform. And at the same time, for the group of people who choose to hire a realtor, they're going to look for the real estate agent or the real estate brokerage or brand that has the best AI tools and functionality. Big brokerages are already scrambling, trying to figure out how to build their own internal AI systems, whether it's just to automate certain parts of their real estate agent's process or building like real AI agents that are acting as like assistants to the realtors. And this is going to be a key component for those brokerages recruiting the best and brightest realtors. If you're a top agent in your city, you're going to want to join the brokerage that gives you the best tools, the best technology, and the best support. So it's not going to be very appealing to join a mom and pop brokerage where you have to hire your own real estate assistant for $60,000 a year, rather than join this other brokerage that has AI assistants given to every one of their agents, and now you have your own AI assistant that costs you $49 a month. So in summary, AI is going to allow buying and selling real estate to become more accessible to the everyday person, while also heavily changing the landscape of a real estate agent, what it is that they're going to be hired for, or what they're going to be in charge of in terms of delivering a service to their client. Now, moving on to part 3, I wanted to talk about my predictions on where I think the future of real estate is headed to now that AI is becoming part of our everyday life, and in the next 2 to 5 years when it is actually a part of our everyday life and becomes a very, very normal thing that everybody uses. First and foremost, I think one of the biggest impacts that AI is going to have on the real estate industry is it's very much going to be standardizing pricing across the board. Now, what I mean by that is right now, real estate pricing is typically based on 2 things, which is either a real estate professional's opinion or the market speculation. A real estate professional's opinion obviously means a real estate agent's advice to their client of what that home is worth that they want to buy or what their home is worth that they want to sell. And then obviously once it gets to the offer stage, 2 real estate agents kind of going back and forth in negotiations, talking about what the home is worth. Because ultimately when a home gets listed on the market, the way that a real estate agent determines what the value of that home is by looking at the sales history of that neighborhood or that apartment complex or whatever it is. Let's just say, for example, there's a condo building where 10 units have sold in the last 60 days and every single one of them sold for $500,000. They're all the same size, they're all the same finishes, they all look the same. Obviously, this is a very fake scenario, but just work with me here. If somebody then calls up the real estate agent and says, hey, I have a unit in this building that I want to sell, it's the same size, it's the same finishes, it looks the same, but I want $600,000 for my condo, the real estate agent is going to look at the history. They're going to see that in the past little bit, every single one has sold for $500,000. Now, obviously, there are some other factors that go into the pricing, like maybe all of a sudden this condo building is in super high demand and now it's worth more, but that's kind of the fringe cases, and typically it's just based on sales history and then obviously the condition and the finishes of the home. But assuming that you're comparing apples to apples, that's typically how a real estate agent is going to tell you what your home is worth. Now, the second point that I mentioned was speculation, and that is when people, read in the newspaper that home prices are skyrocketing, or maybe they get a text from their financial advisor that they should invest in real estate, or they see on the news that there's a bubble in their city and it's about to pop. Whatever the way that the message gets out there, typically speculation comes from people hearing from other people that something is going to happen in the market or with the value of their home. Now, speculation is not always accurate. Sometimes it is completely false. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter if it's fake as long as people believe it. If for some reason reason in a city there was a frenzy for everybody to sell their house, home prices would plummet because all of a sudden there would be thousands and thousands of houses that would come on the market, and it's just simple supply and demand. If there's all of a sudden a ton of supply with low demand, then prices are going to go down. So typically speculation and a real estate agent's opinion are the two things that tend to set the market prices. When AI comes into the picture, it's going to standardize pricing because now there's going to be no such thing as speculation or opinion. It's going to solely be based on facts. If your home is in this neighborhood and is this square footage with these kind of finishes, then it is worth this much. Plain and simple. Now, of course, there are going to be people that see a home and maybe AI will say it's worth $500,000, but they absolutely love the home. They love the colors, they love the layout, they love everything about it, and they love it more than anybody else who has looked at it, so they're willing to pay $550,000. That, of course, is going to happen. But for the most part, for the high majority of cases, I think AI is going to standardize pricing. It's going to reduce, if not eliminate, the amount of bubbles that happen in markets because the public is going to be well educated on home prices, home conditions, and all the other data that they normally would rely on a real estate agent to give them. Secondly, I think that housing shortages are going to drastically be reduced in these big metropolitan areas. Now, this also is going to have an effect on standardizing pricing like we just talked about, but what I'm really referring to is these big metropolitan areas where they either have a ton of immigration or a ton of homelessness, and the infrastructure that's in place in that city just can't keep up with the demand for housing. Personally, I know this all too well in Canada because we have so much immigration right now and so many new people coming to our country. We can't build enough homes to house these people, which is causing the prices of homes in these big cities to go way, way, way up because there's such a high demand for houses. Same with the price of rent right now. It's going way up because there's so much demand to just get a condo or get a house to rent. And it seems very simple to fix, right? If you have X amount of people coming into the country, then you need to build X amount of homes. But what people don't realize is it takes time to build homes. It could take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years to build properties, especially if you're building like big condo high rises. That can take multiple years to build that. And let's say that you, as the government of this city, know that you need to build 10 skyscrapers in your downtown core in order to accommodate the amount of people in your city, and you start to build them, but it takes 3 to 5 years to get those properties built. By the time 3 to 5 years rolls around, you could have way more or way less people that need those homes. So the time that it takes to fulfill the demand is not on par with the actual demand itself. Where AI will come into play is it's going to speed up the process of not only building the home, but also predicting the amount of homes that are needed right now, next year, 3 years, 5 years from now. AI is really good at predicting trends, and it's only going to get better. And it's really, really going to help the government predict how many homes they're going to need in 5 years so that they can start today. And because of that, as the supply of houses starts actually meeting the demand, home prices and rental prices are going to be able to stabilize. And obviously when that happens, it has a huge effect on the rest of the economy because now people have more expendable income to spend elsewhere. They can start saving money, putting money aside, investing their money, buying a second property, whatever it might be. Now, going back to some points that I touched on before of how is it going to affect real estate agents, it's also going to affect every other kind of profession in the real estate world. So if you're a real estate developer, like we just talked about, it's going to heavily affect what you're building, how many units you're building, what type of properties, what locations, things like that, because you'll have accurate predictions. Not to mention the actual internal workings of your business will be quicker and more efficient because of internal AI systems. Same thing goes for mortgage brokers. They will be able to much more accurately determine how much they should be approving people for, who should get mortgages and who shouldn't, which will result in much less mortgage defaults, which then in turn helps our economy. Interior designers, obviously you can use AI to completely transform an interior in a matter of seconds. Rather than having to pay a graphic designer thousands of dollars to do it, AI can do it for you in 30 seconds. And this could even transpire into the actual homeowner when they're buying their home. Maybe they just bought a brand new condo and they want to design the interior of their home. Now they can pick out their selections and their colors and their styles and make changes to the floor plan and everything that a human is normally doing inside of that company. AI can now do it for them through a program that they're going to be able to use, which is a more enjoyable experience for the homeowner, but also just a better, more efficient experience for the business. And with more efficiencies means lower costs. So to summarize point 3, I think that AI is going to drastically change the real estate landscape for everybody because it is going to help stabilize the market, stabilize prices, stabilize rent rentals. It's going to allow every single kind of business inside of the real estate industry to run more efficiently with less people at a quicker rate and being way more accurate, making less mistakes. The types of homes that we build are going to be better, stronger, and we're going to be able to build them faster. The government is going to be able to predict the demand for housing much more accurately and at a faster rate. And the job of a real estate agent is going to shift from being somebody who holds all of the data and all of the answers to the homeowner's questions to instead just being a trustworthy advisor that the person can rely on, who is well equipped to utilize these AI tools that they can then give to their client. But obviously, I am not a fortune teller and I can't predict the future, so I would love to hear from you. What do you think the future of real estate is going to look like once AI comes into our society in full? Or maybe you don't think that AI is going to come into our society. Maybe you think that people are just going to reject AI and it's going to go away of the past. Personally, I don't think that's the case with AI. I think AI is going to be more revolutionary and more impactful than the internet. But again, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment. Let me know what your predictions are for the future of real estate, the future of real estate agents, property development, and all that stuff. Once again, if you are not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button, like the video. I would really appreciate the support. My mission is to reach as many real estate agents as I possibly can and help them learn how to utilize AI in their business so they can future-proof their business and protect themselves from being left behind as these new technologies make their way into our industry. So the more that you support these videos and subscribe to my channel, the more that YouTube is going to show these videos to real estate agents, which helps me get that message out there. Now, if you are a real estate agent and you know that you need to adapt to AI, you need to get it figured out, but you just don't know where to start, you don't know what tools you should be using or how to use them, click the first link in my description below. I actually started a new service with a lot of my clients based off of the requests that I was getting from real estate agents, where I do a 4-week AI audit and transformation program where I dive deep into your real estate business, map out your entire systems and processes, and I show you exactly where you should be using AI, what tools you should be using, how to use them, where exactly to use them in your business, and what kind of results you'll get from it. I break down the time savings, the cost savings. Basically, if you are wanting to adopt AI into your business and get started with using this technology, this is the best way to get started because I go step by step with you and break down your entire business and where AI needs to be injected. And then I also give you a step-by-step user manual where it explains to you exactly how to use these tools. Otherwise, I also have a link to my calendar below if you want to book a call with me, as well as a link to the waitlist where you can sign up for my school community, where you're going to learn how to use all these different AI tools and keep up with the AI trends and also see what other real estate agents are doing in their business to automate with AI. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it, and we will see you in the next video.